This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Welcome to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, where we take a deep dive into the Star Wars universe, such as characters, creatures, stories, and so much more. Hosted by Ben of Temeria and Kadojo. Welcome back, everyone, to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my good friend, Kadojo.
Hello there.
Hello there to you, General Kenobi. I don't know if that will ever get old. Probably never. But we are back here today going more over the Chiss, specifically Legends, in part 2, because there's a lot of info in Legends.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot. So, kicking off from where we were last week, we are diving into Thrawn's household phalanx. Is that what this
phalanx.
is? Phalanx. Okay.
That's what I call it.
So Roman stuff, which I think didn't we talk about last week? They were more like mafia last week.
Yeah.
Now we get into like some of the Roman aspects, I guess. I don't know.
This is his own thing. His whole breed.
Okay. Fair enough. So Thrawn persisted in his challenges to the First Strike doctrine of the Ascendancy in the behalf that it made his people weak. This approach led to the disagreement with the Chiss ruling houses, who did not approve of a preemptive strike against an unconfirmed enemy. It was this approach and similar such actions that put Thrawn at odds with the ruling families. Ultimately, they branded him a renegade and banished him to a primitive jungle world on the fringes of known Chiss space. Wow. I did not know that.
Unlike the Mafia family, he got off easy.
Right. In 19 BBY, he was discovered and recruited by the Empire. For almost 3 decades, however, his true capabilities and his true status within the Imperial hierarchy were kept carefully hidden, even within the ranks of the military. Which makes sense, because the Empire is not fond of aliens. In any aspect of any empire.
They're very xenophobic.
Sadly, yes. So, despite being exiled and rejected by his people, Thrawn remained very protective of his kind. This was evident by the fact that he never revealed the whereabouts of the Chiss to outsiders. After rising to the rank of Grand Admiral, Thrawn was seamlessly exiled from Imperial Court for a breach in the practices of the Imperial Palace. In truth, this was a cover story orchestrated by the Emperor Palpatine to explain the departure of his greatest tactician. Thrawn afterwards began an Imperial campaign of subjugation of the unknown regions in the name of the Galactic Empire, with his secondary duty seeing him disappearing for long periods of time.
Now, see, I think he wanted to get kicked out of the Ascendancy because he knew the Empire, he could rise in ranks, and then he can go and do this.
Right.
So that way,
don't know, if you haven't seen Rebels, even though that's canon, they keep Thrawn pretty close to his original Legends version. He plans out things for the long run. He doesn't go for short-term gain. He goes for a long-term gain.
Yeah. And like when Rebels get their Y-Wings, it's only 5 Y-Wings they get. It's like, no, let them have it. They've earned that.
So, Sent with a task force into the unknown regions, this group was given the secret mission of exploring the area and conquering new systems for future Imperial expansion. While mapping large portions of space, Thrawn re-established contact with his comrades within the Chiss territory. By this time, the Chiss have been battling the many dark threats that surrounded them. Seeing hope in Thrawn's manner of leadership, many Chiss flocked to his banner in order to preserve their way of life. Within a few years, Thrawn had opened up large expanses of territory and replaced them under the command of the Imperial forces and those handful of Chiss that remained loyal to him. In addition, the intense secrecy of the project meant that few outside of Palpatine and those assigned to Thrawn's forces were aware of their existence.
So, like I said before, now he has a very powerful military behind him. He has his own territory, and he can go after any threat that goes after his people.
Yeah, right.
Under the guise of imperial justice or expansion.
Mm-hmm. So, with his fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers, the Imperial forces worked alongside with the native forces of Sindric, Mithral, Rudo's household phalanx. The territory conquered in the campaigns became the basis of a new power, the Empire of the Hand. The new government formed an uneasy relationship with the Chiss ascendancy. Those people consider Thrawn a renegade. Many aristocrats secretly supported his actions, believing his proactive stance ultimately kept the Chiss people safe.
This is literally, we say one thing but do another.
Yeah.
The politicians like, no,
he's a renegade.
Disregard
this
man. He's outlier. Hey, Thrawn, here's the latest intel we got on this enemy.
Right. Exactly. It's like, hey, as long as you're doing this, we're cool. We're fine. But in the eyes of the people, we can't say that.
Yeah.
So, while largely unknown, Chiss were involved in other events in the galaxy. Notable instances included Droma Ordo and the traitor Trial, who resided in the Station Gamma in 1 ABY. During the Galactic Civil War, one Chiss had joined the Alliance to restore the Republic. Captain Voldez participated in the Battle of Retus. Another Chiss, Leon P. Weto, led a group of poachers during the hunts of the Rodian hunting grounds on the planet Kashyyyk. Wow.
I hope they weren't hunting Wookiees.
Rodian hunting grounds on Kashyyyk, which is the homeworld of the Wookiees.
Yeah, I hope they weren't hunting Wookiees. Because I would understand the reptilians. What were they? Trandoshans.
Trandoshans, yep.
I would understand that, but maybe they were just hunting other stuff that's on Kashyyyk. It is a big jungle planet.
Good point. That's a very good point. Funny enough, this appeared in the hit video game Star Wars Galaxies, one of the first MMOs made for LucasArts. This is obviously ultimately before the current MMO Old Republic, which is probably never going to die at this point, which is great. All right, moving on. There were no other recorded encounters of the Chiss, although they fought in the Siruvi, a potent reptilian species who were a military force or military threat as fearsome as the Naga and the Yveltha. Yevitha? We'll go with that.
Yeah.
This occurred a few months after the Battle of Endor, when Thrawn's Empire of the Hand carried out a preemptive strike on the Suvruvine Imperium. This initial clash allowed the CEDF to directly intervene and invade Suruvi territory in response to their attacks on the Ascendancy colonies.
So Thrawn was able to keep that empire busy on one front while the Chiss went in through the back door.
Pretty much. The short resulting war became between the two powers crippled the Sea Rook, and the victorious Chiss became the ultimate power within the unknown regions. By this point, the far outsiders have been arriving in the unknown regions, and the Chiss responded by constructing stellar fortresses to combat this threat.
Now, Far Outsiders, is that the Yu Zhang Vong?
I mean, it's not specified here, but I don't know if it's
I,
at
th-
that part yet. Are we? I don't know.
I think so. I think I remember in the other notes. Where did it go? That
Because I know the
the
Yuuzhan Vong were a threat, period.
Oh
But I
yeah,
don't think we're that far in the timeline, because they're, I think, a little bit later.
yeah.
But in 9 ABY, Thrawn left the Unknown Regions to take supreme command of the Empire's war machine and launch his campaign against the New Republic. And in spite of his death at Bilberigi, his legacy endured, not least in the form of his household phalanx and the allies in the Empire of the Hand. After Thrawn's death, the New Republic captured a number of logs from surrendered Imperial vessels, which provided a few points of interest on the otherwise mysterious Chiss. These records included a log by Emperor Palpatine on his first encounter with Thrawn. Bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum.
he really never viewed the Republic as much as a threat or something to worry about.
No. Oh, God, no.
And I wonder him in the Empire Hand in the new canon, that's what they were sort of setting up in the sequel trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the new canon books, Palpatine and him talked a lot about the unknown region.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it could be a big setup. We have Thrawn back in the Ahsoka series, so who knows what we'll get next, because
I hope he goes back to Ascendancy. That's where he
that
belongs.
would be cool. I would be really cool to see more Chiss than just him in
Yeah.
live action or any Star Wars media, because in canon, the only Chiss that we see is Thrawn.
Yeah.
He's the only one that we see in the entire canon of currently,
Well, there is the comics of the books, and they
good
do
point. I didn't
show
think about that.
one or two Chiss
Good point. I
in
didn't
that.
think about that.
So,
Anyway, moving on to Thrawn's empire. So the secrecy of Thrawn's project served it well, and by 19 ABY, the Empire of the Hand controlled a vast region in space while being completely unknown to the Imperial remnant that was based in the nearby bastion within the Rim frontier. It was I can't talk. It was the result of the events that led to the Comus document crisis that led to the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker learning the existence of the Chiss and the Empire of the Hand being based on a largely uninhabited world of Niran. Sure. Where the
yeah.
fortress structure, the Hand of Thrawn, served as the official base of the operations. At this time, the Empire of the Hand also recruited General Baron Sontir Fel, who served as a higher echelons of the Empire of the Hand's government.
You gotta admire a man who manages to create an actual empire.
Mm-hmm.
That
Right?
efficient.
Right? I mean, shoot. Like, nobody knew this empire even existed until, Luke stumbled upon it, almost, over a decade later almost 2 decades later after the original empire fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Chiss paranoia was such that even in the remnant's highest echelons, his mission and location was apparently largely unknown, and the Baron's sons, Davin and Jag, or
Jag.
Jack. I couldn't tell if that was a Q or a G. Were required to enroll as cadets to a Chiss military academy, primarily as a hostage to ensure their father's integrity. Following the discovery of the Empire of the Hand, Supreme Chancellor Galad Pelion, with his trusted advisors, became aware of them and maintained limited contact with Admiral Parks, Niran's offshoot regime.
Yeah. Chiss paranoia. I wonder if they mean Chiss in general or just Thrawn.
Yes. just yes. In addition, Leia Organa Solo, along with the top officials of the New Republic, were also aware of the Chiss and the Empire of the Hand, though they did not know the true extent of the territory of the latter, which kept a secret by Jedi Master Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade. Similarly, the Chiss knew virtually nothing of the New Republic or its world, while maintaining the policy that Thrawn was a renegade and brought dishonor to the rest of his people. This era would also see the haven of the Redoubt cluster nearing completion. And if nobody knows, Mara Jade is Luke's wife.
Tried to kill him once,
Try to kill him, but, Luke has that Riz and, got himself a wife instead.
Love
of
at
dying.
first saber clash.
Right? Oh, gosh. I gotta love legend stuff. So by 22 ABY, aristocrat Colorm Petrano. Their Chiss names are weird.
Yeah.
You might have heard me in the last episode saying that. Began to experiment with Thrawn's military doctrines in order to find a means of dealing with the resurgent threat of the Varari without challenging the rule against preventive strikes. This was partially to end their campaign to the Terror of the Unknown Regions, but also because the Chiss had learned that the Varagi had already made alliances with forces more dangerous than them. A fortunate turn of events came when a Chiss patrol in the Redoubt discovered the remains of the outbound flight and quickly reported its findings. Their data was forwarded to the 9 ruling families, who held a quick debate in order to determine the next course of action.
Yeah, I mean, even after his death, like Sun Tzu, he wrote the book, and then even thousands of years later, it's still being taught to this day.
Yeah.
Thrawn, in his technique, is still not necessarily being taught, but being learned, being sought after by only a select few, which is a shame.
Right. Because he was smart as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So after declaring the area off limits, they placed Aristocra. God dang. Aristocra Formby in charge of the recovery mission to return the ruined vessel to the New Republic. To that end, he created the elaborate plan involving the outbound flight mission that was now located within the Redoubt. First, he contacted Admiral Voss Park, and through him sent a message to Luke Skywalker to arrive at the Krusty in order to board the Chaff Envoy as part of an apparent mission to return to the ruined outbound flight to its owners. This message was interrupted by Dean Zinzer, who masqueraded as an ambassador of the New Republic with the help of George Karstas as a personal favor to him.
Right.
Gotta love some espionage. Gotta love that stuff. And then while transporting the quote-unquote ambassador to the Chaff Envoy, Aristocrata Formby was given the brief but detailed description on the appearance of the Viragi as part of his plans. The message sent to Admiral Prack that was meant to request Jedi Master Skywalker's presence had enough transmission leakage in order to attract the attention of the Viragi in a region of space where they were building up their strength. In addition, the 501st Legion, under the command of Chalk Fell, has dispatched further assistance, though none of the parties except Formby and his assistant Fias was aware of their true extent of his plans. And by the 501st... Vader's Fist. Okay. I couldn't remember which version of the 501st. So yeah, it was Vader's, version.
Personal Legion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. The 501st was still 103 ABY. Was still going at 103 AB, 130 ABY.
Wow, they really
Jeez.
went with Vader's or Anakin's legacy. Holy crap.
Yeah. Anyway.
So meeting with the respective parties, the Chiss convoy was met seamlessly with the Grun remnant, survivors of a world that was been pillaged by the Viragi. These Grun were actually Viragi in disguise, which aristocrat of Formby was aware of based on Cardas's descriptions. Though he did not take General Drask into his confidence, as part of his plan, the aristocrata had hoped that the Viragi would attempt to steal the Chaff envoy en route to outbound flight, and thus had made arrangements for the crew to take shelter at hidden stations when their foes revealed their true natures. Furthermore, they only intended for a few Viragi to be present and conduct an act of theft, which would have complied with the Chiss rules of engagement. So they were like literally planning things out for us so they could strike first.
Oh, yeah. They were literally trying to make it so that way. Hey, look, this species in enough number are making the first strike. We got to hit back.
Right. And so the reason for not bringing anyone else into the scheme was to ensure that the fault of the manipulation would lie solely on the hands of the Shalom ben Trano, whatever. This was also the reason he did not reveal his true capabilities of Master Skywalker to the Garun. However, the Viragi did not act when expected and instead traveled to the outbound flight colony, where the Chiss were surprised to discover that there were survivors. At this point, the Viragi discarded their Dragoon disguises and unleashed their Wolkills and were in suspended animation while themselves attempted to steal one of the dreadnoughts. The Viragi were ultimately thwarted by the actions of Master Skywalker and his wife, Mara Jade Skywalker.
So they kind of saw a bigger prize and went after it. It's like, oh,
And
wait, there's a bigger prize?
Wolfkill is a feral creature utilized by the Viragi.
Yeah.
So they're pets, essentially. And then, with Eshtosh's strike force thwarted, significant justification was made for hostilities to emerge with the Viragi for their multiple merciless attacks, with a state of war existing between the Chiss ascendancy and the Viragi race. At this point, the Chiss assembled a strike force for this new conflict while their scout ships searched for the enemy bases. After the completion of their mission, Master Skywalker and Mara Jade discussed the deceptive means of the Aristotle Formby had made in order to provoke the Viragi into instigating hostilities, commenting on the similarities to techniques used by Thrawn. This led to the two suspecting that there were another clone of Thrawn that would perhaps be in hiding and involved in the incident, though this was simply speculation by the two Jedi. And
I like
their speculations of that is there was clones for everything in Legends. So everyone had a clone at one point, which is
even Thrawn, because it says another clone of Thrawn.
He already had one, and then Palpatine obviously had a clone that.
Well, he had several.
He had several clones. So that's a good point. That's very, very true. So.
Well, not clones so much as vessels.
Yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
So, but at this point, let's take a quick mid-break, thank our patrons, and we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
What if I told you you only have 12 hours to legally have sex?
To finding true love, or just like a good guy.
From the director of Easy A and Anyone But You.
This whole thing is nuts.
There's nothing traditional about this night.
On August 7th, the clock starts on the summer's biggest rom-com.
I'm Owen.
Allie.
What about you and me?
Monica Barbaro, Callum Turner.
I've been told I'm a 7.
By who? Your mom?
Nah, she thinks I'm a 10.
One night only. Rated R. Only in theaters August 7th.
All right, welcome to the mid-break of the show. We're talking about everything with podcasts. That has nothing to do with the lore of Star Wars. Gosh, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Here, we want to thank all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And if you too want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/the Holocron Histories, where you can get ad-free episodes or even join us once a month on the show itself. You can also support us on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on Apple with some words. Read it out loud the next time on the show, which we do have a nice Spotify comment from our friend Zachary on our last episode. The Chiss are my all-time favorite Star Wars species and the one I would want to be. Also, you should really read the Thrawn Ascendancy books. They're basically Thrawn making his way through the ranks of the Chiss Navy, which is all true. So, yeah, go read the Thrawn books. Thrawn books are awesome, both Legends and canon trilogies. And if I recall, they had 2 trilogies each, right?
Well, I'm not sure about Legends. I know in canon there are
There's
2
two
trilogy
trilogies
books.
and canons. I know that. I know they have a lot of Thrawn books in Legends, so. Other than that, you can find us on Discord at the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show, as well as all the other shows that I host, which are the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Gundam Lorecast, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. So go check those out, all on Robots Radio, all great fun. And we even started up our Patreon for Gundam, so if anybody's a Gundam fan and wants to come on our show on the Gundam Lorecast and talk about anything Gundam, there you go. Other than that, you can find us live, typically on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/benoftemeria every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where we, you can chat with us live in the Twitch chat of the topic we are going over, or, just asking us random questions, because that's always fun too. But yeah, that's what all I have for the mid-break. Do you have anything, Kodojo?
No. Most libraries do have audiobooks of the new Thrawn trilogies?
True.
Go listen to them. They're high-quality audiobooks.
Oh yeah, a
lot
lot of the new canon stuff is really good quality audiobooks. So, yeah, go check that stuff out. It's great. So, let's get back into more Chiss.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
If you've ever blasted synth beats from your boombox or burned CDs for your besties, this one's for you. As people get older, much like their music tastes, their health needs change. AG1 is the simple daily health drink designed to deliver over 75 essential daily nutrients and pre- and probiotics to support energy, digestion, and mood, so you can make the most out of every decade and dance break. Learn more at drinkag1.com.
All right. So now we're into the new Jedi Order era. So, the Chiss were involved in a long war with the Viragi that culminated to the Third Viragi War. At some point, and for some reasons unknown, the Empire of the Hand was absorbed by the Chiss Ascendancy. As a result of this conflict, the Ascendancy suffered from labor shortages, and thus alternate means were sought, and this led to the Chiss deciding to hire Killik laborers to work for them and deemed them not as a serious threat after centuries of being observed by the reconnaissance corps of the defense fleet. The decision was seen as a sound one, as the Killiks were plentiful, industrious, and not afraid of risks. And Calyx are typically, they're like an insectoid species.
I want to say they're in SWTOR and
I want to say
Alderaan.
you're right. Oh, here we are. In SWTOR. Yes, they are on. Yes, you are correct. They are on Alderaan.
It's like they're
where,
invasive species or something.
Yes, and you can determine how to proceed with them. So yeah, they are in SWTOR. So if you want to see anything with Calyx, go play SWTOR. Or read a bunch of the old books or comics. That's pretty much the only other place where you'll find them. But at the same time, the Chiss took steps that ensured they did not take advantage of the hive mind insectoids and took stringent precautions under their own control to prevent any of their kind becoming joiners, which, if you play SWTOR, you would know that the Calyx can infect you and you basically become part of their hive.
Yeah. Okay.
And there is no cure. You pretty much, the only cure is death. So, unknown to the Chiss, someone sabotaged their precautionary measures for the Calyx, which was suspected that had been a result of the interfamily rivalries that led to entire families becoming joiners. In addition, 3 other families had become critically dependent on acrylic labor, leading to a dispute that brought about a disagreement among the Chiss. Among those involved was Suntir Fel, who spared several members of the destroyed families, with the consequences of the incident reverberating following the disagreement, despite it being seamlessly resolved.
Mafia families will always be mafia families trying to backstab each other.
Yep. Here's a backstab. You get a backstab. Here's a backstab. Everyone gets a backstab.
Backstab.
All right. So in the year 25 ABY, the extragalactic alien race, the Yuuzhan Vong, invaded the galaxy. This led to Grand Admiral Gilad Pelion of the Imperial Remnant calling upon all Imperial forces to rendezvous with the forces of Ithor, which was the site of the next attack. This saw a 3-squadron unit designated as Force Spike, which consists of the Chiss fighters from Thrawn's household phalanx, dispatched under the command of Jagged Fel. Force Spike participated in the Battle of Ithor, which saw Commander Cedo Sai's battle fleet destroyed, but at the cost of Ithor itself. So, planet go bye-bye. Yeah. Yuuzhan Vong don't mess around. If you read the comics and know anything about the Yuuzhan Vong, it's not a good conflict. No.
No, the Yuuzhan Vong just literally pushes the whole galaxy to the edge of extinction.
Pretty much. So in the aftermath, the Chiss forces, along with the beacon ship that were recalled to their own territory. However, Jagged Fel convinced his father, Sunto Fel, to conduct a fact-finding mission as the Yuuzhan Vong invasion forces spread throughout the galaxy in 27 ABY. This led to Fel, along with the Shankir Naruto, departing and eventually arriving at Haps, where they assisted against the invading Yuuzhan Vong. Despite orders not to get involved, the two created the Vanguard Squadron and actively aided the ruined New Republic in battering the extragalactic conquerors. Yeah, the Yuuzhan Vong literally is like it somehow everyone in the galaxy was put together to fight off this infection, essentially, for the first time ever.
There's no great unifier than an external threat,
or mass genocide and extinction.
Yeah, great great
That's
threat.
a good motivator. It's a good motivator on trying not to die. So during the Yuuzhan Vong War, agents of the Chiss were involved in the Alpha Red secret project, and liaison with Diff Scar. Their intention was the creation of the bioweapon Alpha Red to be used against the extragalactic Yuuzhan Vong invaders. However, before it was deployed, the biotoxin was rendered harmless due to the intervention of Vergir. Afterwards, in 28 ABY, an expedition was launched by the Galactic Alliance, which was led by Jedi Master Luke Skywalker in order to locate the fabled living world of Zonamba Sikat, and was believed to be the key of entering the conflict with the Yuuzhan Vong. This saw them journeying into the unknown regions and encountering the Chiss ascendancy. Oh boy. And then, upon being intercepted by Commander Heslori Ruendo, patrol ships, the Jedi was escorted to Chile, in order to meet with the ruling family, so that the petition could be heard on whether they could continue their search or be forced to depart Chiss space. They ultimately allowed Master Skywalker forces access to the Expeditionary Library archives, where they were assisted by the librarian Chiss. During the time, Ina Garnet Urudo, right, acted upon their conspiracy with Peta Abba in order to eliminate Syndic Fowl, who was only for to be thwarted by the Jedi. So, more backstabbing within the backstabbing within a war.
Oh, yeah.
So, hooray.
What was the effect of the Yuuzhan Vong in the unknown region? Because I don't remember them getting either that far or just not bothering with them.
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read those comics.
Yeah.
So, moving on from 28 ABY onwards, the Chiss noticed startling changes within the insectoid Killiks, who had previously shown to a disregard for their own lives by letting sick members of their kind to die or allowing entire nests to starve for greater benefit of the Killik colony. However, the Killiks' behavior changed as they started caring for their sick and used trade to advocate food shortages, increasing the population within the colony. In time, it grew with satellite nests emerging near the Chiss border, and the Ascendancy recognized the threat posed by the Killiks. Thus, prior to 35 ABY, the Ascendancy began to take a visible course of action to the curb of the threat of the colony by starving the nest near Chiss space, whereas the one present on Corbu, this action brought to them a conflict with the Killiks and also saw a Chiss intelligence agent known as Dar Yanth become a prime of the Thal nest.
So Killiks go from not doing so good to all of a sudden, boom, massive population.
Yeah, and one of the Chiss to becoming a prime in the nest is also not good, because a prime is essentially a leader within a nest. Yeah. So essentially, they're like a joiner king. Like they rule the entire
king,
colony.
Queen.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
So the Chiss strategy, however, proved to be effective until Unathol used his connection to the Mirak strike team to allow them to his side in the conflict. This arrival of the Jedi fighting on the side of the Killiks, led to the Chiss dispatching Aristocra Mitquil Kalani to the Galactic Alliance in order to determine why they had intervened in the conflict. The Chiss ambassador first met with Chief of State Cal Omas and later with the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, whereupon he determined that the mere Jedi were acting on their own. This saw the Chiss dispatch Jagged Fel, who is the commander of the Chiss military forces in the region that were attempting to contain the Killiks. However, the arrival of a Happen fleet under the command of Dukat Elson Gray, due to the intervention of Jason Solo, led to the further hostilities, but communicated in the Corbu truce that seamlessly ended the conflict, and which saw the death of Welk.
So a Jedi gets involved unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Probably doesn't know the whole picture, and it's like, well, we gotta go clean up this mess.
Yep. And Jason Solo is he's not a good person.
Well, he was at this time, I think, wasn't he?
Was he? He might have been. I don't know. Despite the end of the hostilities, the Killik colony being relocated to the Uletu Nebula, and the crisis did not end in the rising hostilities emerging due to the intervention of the Dark Nest in the background. This would eventually lead to all-out war against the species when Jason Solo and his friends executed a sneak attack on Supply Depot Trago to prevent Jason's catastrophic vision from coming true. The result of this assault was let start the war, what known as the Swarm War, with the Chiss taking an active fight against the Killer Colony. The Galactic Alliance would eventually be caught up in the mix once they realized it was the Darkness influence on the colony that was provoking the war. So yeah, this is before he went like cuckoo.
Yeah, before
he was
turned
about
to
to
the
go.
dark side.
He's about to go cuckoo.
Yeah.
So the Chiss Ascendancy was responsible for assaulting the Kela colony world of Tanoop with a massive ground engagement fought between the two sides. While it seemed the Chiss were committed to taking the planet with their fleet in place, they were aware of the presence of the Kela Moon Swarm. However, they had planned to defeat the intention of launching a parasite bomb, which would slowly infect the entire Killick race and destroy the colony as a result of the spread throughout the species.
This sounds similar to Geonosians.
Yes.
Where the Empire just used them and then used some kind of bioweapon to pretty much wipe them out.
Pretty much. However, the intervention of the Jedi prevented this from occurring through further hostilities ended with the Darkness, along with its leader, Lomi Plo, were killed by the Jedi Master, and while Raynar Thol himself was taken into custody by the new Jedi Order, with the leaders either dead or separated from them, it was believed the colony would revert to its former base behavior, thus neglecting the threat they posed to the Chiss Ascendancy. And then afterwards, in 43.5 ABY, a Chiss by the name of, Kathala Shi Kothol. Sure, I'm just
just names.
Trying it. Served the Imperial Chief of State Jagged Fell as head of the nightly personal security force.
Even in the new canon stuff, Thrawn's like, I'll tell you my name, but just call me Thrawn. You probably won't be able to announce my full name properly.
Right. Yeah.
Now we know why.
Yes, because it's all words and letters put together. And Lomi Plo, by the way, is a human female Night Sister and a Sith Master. By the way, for everybody to know. That's the Darkness. So the Darkness leader was the Sith Master. So that's fun.
Damn Sith.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on. The Chiss continued to operate in the years that followed and became close allies with the Galactic Alliance by becoming one of its autonomous allied regions. These territories were be allied with the Galactic Alliance but were free to manage their own regions of space. This continued till the year 127 ABY when they dispatched the diplomat Felor Otello Loro to the planet Bastion of the new Galactic Empire, serving as the role of the diplomatic envoy, who was placed in the service of the Imperial Diplomatic Corps as a sign of solidarity between the Chiss Ascendancy and the Empire.
Basically trying to play nice with everybody.
Yep, pretty much. During this time, the Galactic Alliance suffered greatly for the incident surrounding the Ossus Project, which served as the incentive for the Empire to declare war against them. When the Chiss learned of this, they attempted to recall Felor, but did not want to drag into the resultant conflict. However, Emperor Roland Fel decided to grant the title of Moff to Felard in order to secure the continued support of the Chiss Ascendancy. Furthermore, upon this appointment to the Council of Moffs, he was promoted as Director of the Imperial Diplomatic Corps. In their aftermath, the Chiss Ascendancy faced a transition from becoming a Galactic Alliance autonomous allied region into an Imperial independent affiliate. So they go from Galactic Alliance to back to the Empire.
And they just can't leave the Empire alone, can they?
Nope. Not at all. And then with the formation of Dark Krait's Sith Empire, the Dark Lord of the Sith kept the allegiance of the Chiss dynasty by way of diplomacy. This involved promising many members of various Chiss houses to high-ranking positions within his empire. Furthermore, he allowed the Chiss dynasty to retain its position as being a power within the unknown regions unless they served as a proxy to the Sith Empire's rule over the area of space. During the later conflict against Runfell and the One Sith, it was suspected that Rolf Yag and the Chiss were sheltering Emperor Fel, though Fahal denied the allegations in his session with the Moff Council.
Just really just go with whoever's in charge.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Given the state of the galaxy, I don't blame them now for their isolationism.
God, no. And the One Sith, for everybody who to know, was was also known as the New Sith Order. So this was Darth Krait's version of his Sith Order.
Yeah, there can be as many Sith as there can be, so long as they only serve one Sith, the Emperor.
Yes. There can be only one true master, but as many apprentices as he wants.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then lastly, behind the scenes, for Legends, specifically, the Chiss first appeared in Timothy Zahn's novel Heir to the Empire in the form of Grand Admiral Thrawn, but the name of the people were not revealed until another 8 years later until Zahn's Hand of Thrawn duology. That's cool.
Yeah.
Although the basis of the Chiss naming pattern and the distinctive between the House Phalanx and the Ascendancy were established in the Vision of the Future, these were apparently misunderstood by or imperfectly communicated by some of the authors of the New Jedi Order novels and the concurrent source books. This led to some continuously uncertainties in Red Sky, Blue Flame, the New Jedi Order Dark Journey, and the New Jedi Order Force Heretic 2 Refuge. Okay. I don't know any of those books.
No,
those are all
I've never
books,
heard
by
of
the way.
them.
There's a lot of Legends books, like a lot. So bear with the whole Legends stuff. So Chiss bartenders appear in two of the most recent installments of the computer game series, focusing on Kyle Katarn in Jedi Outcast. Kyle was a brief conversation with a Chiss bartender on Nar Shaddaa, who has not yet mastered all aspects of the grammar of Basic. In Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, his apprentice Jaden Kor encounters a Chiss bartender on Nar Krita.
I hope that was the same bartender.
That would be hysterical, and that would be amazing if they did that.
It's like, oh no, not another one.
Right. The only other known members of the Chiss species to wield the Force openly were Dark Acolyte and CIS General Severance Than, Jedi Antara Welos, Jedi Padawan Neuro Gurama, and Jedi Master Dars Ranos.
Now this very, very differs in the new canon stuff, but we'll get to that in canon.
Right. And Dars Ranos, by the way, is from SWTOR. She can become one of your companions.
Really?
Yeah. She was one of the original pre-orderable something with the promotion stuff way back when the game first released. And then over the course of the last couple years, when they introduced seasons and where you can get Galactic season tokens, you can use those tokens on items and stuff that appear on the Galactic season shop on the whatever fleet you're on, and every week it rotates different rewards, and they have 4 specific companions that rotate that are not, you can't normally get from other means unless you had them way back in the day.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of her now, and she dual wields lightsabers that have extending cross guards.
Yeah, she dual wields crossguard sabers, which is awesome.
So apparently during it's a cool expansion. Okay, I kind of dropped off around then, so
that's fair. So, Chiss are a playable species in the Sith Empire and Star Wars The Old Republic. They may be choose to be Imperial agents or bounty hunters. As they are all restricted species, it is possible to unlock the Chiss for all classes across both factions for a fee of in-game currency, or if the player reaches level 50 with a Chiss character playing an Imperial agent or bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I thought you could be a Chiss. Couldn't you be a Chiss Sith warrior? Or,
once you hit that level 50.
Oh, they're locked out of those two classes?
Yeah, until you hit level 50.
Oh. Well, I have my Imperial agents of Chiss because obviously I based it off of Thrawn, because who wouldn't? My bounty hunter was a cyborg.
I think mine was just a regular human.
The only time I use regular human, the only regular human characters I have in SWTOR are my Jedi Knight, my Sith Warrior, and my Smuggler. All my other classes are different alien species.
See, my Sith Warrior was a pure-blooded Sith.
Okay. Well, I made it where my Sith Warrior and my Jedi Knight are twins. And like they're hereditary, like you can do like a family tree kind of a thing. That I have them as like brothers. So one go to the dark side, one went the light side.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. Oh god. Oh yeah. My Sith Inquisitor was a Twi'lek, because the Sith Inquisitor storyline, you're apparently were a slave or a worker or something. So it's like it would make sense to be a Twi'lek, all that.
A Zabrak.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's what we have on Chiss today for Legends material. So stay tuned for us going over Chiss in the canon, which is mainly just Thrawn. Not gonna lie, it's essentially just Thrawn, because that's all it is. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to add for this episode. Do you have anything you want to add, Kodojo?
No, not really, other than go listen to the books. They're great.
Yeah, go read or listen. Honestly, just listen to the audiobooks for any Star Wars books, because they are really, really good. And they typically add the sound effects, which is also really, really nice. So, at least the newer stuff. So, yeah, again, thank you again for listening to Holocron Histories, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share your thoughts, experiences, and love for the Star Wars lore. And don't forget, for the Republic.